everybody, it's Lissa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video on my favorite books that I have read this year so far. It's only September, but I have read 28 books this year, which is more than what I read in the entire year last year. My goal for this year is 50 books. I'm over halfway there and we're a little over halfway into the year, but out of those 28 books that I have read, 10 of those books were 5-star reads for me. So I wanted to put a video up on this channel and I felt like it'd be a fun video to talk about my 5-star reads so far for this year. It's really hard for me to give out 5-star reads. I've become really picky when it comes to rating books 5 stars. And in general, this year I feel like my reading style has really changed and I've tried to open up to more genres and stuff like that. I had like this really cute outfit on and stuff to go with my makeup, and then it was just so uncomfortable, so I just put a t-shirt on. But I got my Dr. Pepper, so let's just go ahead and get started. I'm actually reading this book right now, but I already know it's going to be a 5-star read. I'm almost done with it. This is Orange by Ichigo Takano. I think that's how you say the author's name. This is a manga. This is volume 1, which has like 4 or 5 volumes in it. This is a story about a girl named Naho who wakes up one morning and receives a letter from her future self. And in this letter, her future self is telling her what she should do every single day because there's this new boy at her school named Kakeru. I can never say his name. Like in my head I just say like Kakeru, but I don't think that's right. I know it's a Japanese name, but he is a new kid at the school. Her future self is trying to help her present self with her new friend because he commits suicide. And so there is trigger warnings for suicide, self-harm, mental health. There is very intense trigger warnings for that. It's a very intense story. I actually watched the anime. The entire anime, even the manga, like kind of keeps you in suspense, and there is a really good slow burn romance, and I am like so into slow burn romances now because I just feel like most stories the romance just happens way too quick, and slow burn is just amazing. So if you like a really like intense but slow burn romance and just a book about mental health and best friends trying to help one of their new friends who's going through a lot, it's just a really sweet story. It's very sad, but it's really good. So this is 100% a 5-star read, 5-star watch. I watched the whole anime in one night. I don't regret it, but this is a really good story. So I promise not all of these are mangas, but I just took what books I wrote as 5 stars in my bullet journal and I just grabbed them. So the next one is Say I Love You by Kane Hazuki. I watched this anime once again like way back in middle school. It's literally just a romance. Like there's not a big plot or like storyline really in it, but it's always just been a really cute romance to me. I've just really liked how the main boy and girl just like talk to each other and how he treats her and stuff. She's not a very like popular girl, but he's pretty popular. I mean, it's like that typical story. So if you just like a cute romance, this is really good. My next 5-star read was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I annotated half the book and then I got too lazy and I stopped annotating it. But I don't even really think I need to talk about what Harry Potter's about. I think the whole world knows what Harry Potter's about. But I read this like a long time ago. 2nd, 3rd grade maybe, and I just wanted to actually read the book again because I didn't appreciate it enough when I was a kid. So yeah, it's Harry Potter, 5 stars. I'm thinking this one is going to be my like top favorite book of the entire year unless something beats this, but this is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. Breaking Bad, I'm not 100% sure. Somebody like told me about it, but he was such a good narrator. Like it's about a family. This doctor, he moves into this like farmhouse that has a really big backyard, and back in the backyard there is this forest. Wait, I feel like I can't say more without giving any spoilers. I feel like most people already know the story, but people bury pets in the pet cemetery and the pets come back to life, but they don't come back to life really how they were before. They come back to life and sometimes like maul people to death. So it's not a cutesy story at all. It's a horror book, but it just really like got me into Stephen King, and I'm just really want to start reading more horror books because it just like makes me feel something that I used to feel back when I started reading, and I want more books to make me feel the way that this book made me feel because it was just like so exciting. Next is another manga. This is Death Note Volume 1. This has volumes 1 and 2 together, I believe. This is the black edition with the black sprayed edges. Beautiful. I love this edition. This is about a main character named Light who finds a death note, and the death note is a notebook where you can write names inside of it, and whoever you write inside of it dies a tragic death. You either can write how they die, how you want them to die, or they just die of a heart attack if you don't write how you want them to die. And Light uses the death note to rid the world of evil, so like criminals and things like that. And it's just a story of him finding the death note. There's these demons called the Shinigami, and those are the ones that like go into the human world. He pretty much did it because he wants the entertainment of the humans. So here he is. He has the best sense of humor. Like, he's creepy, super creepy, but he is hilarious. I think that's what like really made me give it a 5-star, because his comedy is just amazing. It's really intense. I feel like the story gets pretty intense because Light gets a little carried away with the power that he has, and then there is like I don't remember if it's like CSI or FBI, but the police force kind of gets into it, and they're kind of like trying to figure out why all these deaths are happening and stuff. So it's pretty intense. I haven't read the second volume yet, but I watched the anime already, so I already knew what it was about. Next is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. This is the third book in the Infernal Devices series. This is the only book in the series that I rated 5 stars. The other 2 I rated 4 stars. And I annotated it and I loved it. I cried at the end. I can't really, you know, say what happens because I mean, a lot of people read this, but I haven't cried in a book in a while, and this book just kind of like brought the tears out in me at the very end. But this is a story about a girl named Tessa who is a warlock. If she is holding an item of a certain person, she can change her body to look like the person that she is holding the item of. People want to use her power. So she gets rescued by these shadow hunters and they help protect her. There's a villain throughout the entire series who's piece of shit, hate him. Yeah, it's just a story of like her being protected. There is a love triangle, but the love triangle is not annoying like Mortal Instruments to read the Infernal Devices, and you don't. Next is actually a series because I rated the whole series 5 stars. So this is the Selection series. The first book is the Selection, the second book is the Elite, and the third book is the One. There's also like 2 or 3 other books after it, but after the third book, the series just sucks. This was a reread for me. I read them, I want to say the beginning of high school, late middle school, and I loved them then and I love them now. I don't know what I love about it so picked to be in the competition. And in the competition, they teach you how to be a princess. You have to interact with the other girls. You have to learn how to be proper. You have to learn how to run a country. And you have to get the prince to fall in love with you. And if the prince falls in love with you, then you will be the princess. But there's also attacks going into the kingdom. There's all these rebels that are trying to attack the kingdom. So there's stuff like that that goes on. I really like the prince. I think he's very sweet. There was some moments where he was just really annoying, but I also understood the way that he was and stuff like that. Like, I understand why he was the way that he was. So if you like princess stories with some competition, kind of like the Hunger Games a little bit, there's not any like, I mean there's some murder, but there's not like Hunger Games murder in there. But if you like something kind of like that, then you would definitely like this series. And the last book that I have rated 5 stars this year is Nevermore by Kelly Craig, which was actually in my favorite paranormal romance series video. I reread this. I reread this for the 3rd time this year, and I actually annotated it this time. I love this series. I feel like I love it even more like every time I read it. But it's about this popular girl in school named Isabel who gets partnered up with this emo goth boy named Varen in class. And because she has to work with this boy, she has to deal with her friends and boyfriend being very rude and pretty much bullying Varen just because they were partnered together in class, which makes Varen not want to talk to her. And slowly Isabel and Varen, he starts to open up to her very slow. It is a hardcore, like, slow burn romance. Actually not hardcore, but it's a really slow burn romance. Very paranormal. There's ghosts. Varen writes in this journal these really dark, like Edgar Allan Poe type stories. You figure out throughout the book why he draws these drawings. He's being like, without spoiling too much, he's basically being like possessed to do the things that he is doing, and he gets kidnapped and Isabel has to like help save him and stuff like that. But it's based around Edgar Allan Poe, like his world. So it's based off the stories in Edgar Allan Poe poems, which if you like Edgar Allan Poe, I feel like you would definitely like this story. It goes into like this whole alternate universe where they are living literally like in Edgar Allan Poe stories, and it's super cool. The romance is very sweet, very sad. I love her character progression throughout the story because she was a total bitch at the beginning, but I actually really started to love her throughout the book because she just started to become a really good person. So I love this. Like, I've always loved this. I read it for the first time in 2015 and I read it in 4 days, and then I read it again in 2017, and then I just read it again 2 months ago. So I feel like this will be a book that I'll read like every year. But these are all of the books that I have rated 5 stars so far this year, which is 10 books, and I've only read 28, but hopefully by the end of the year I will hit my 50 book goal, maybe even more, and I can do another video showing you guys my favorite books of the year. If you have any other like video book requests, then comment down below. I want to do more like videos like this where I just sit down and talk about books, but I can never really think of any unique ones like a lot of booktubers do. I'm not a very unique person. I don't want to just do like TBRs and books that I've read and stuff like that. I want to do other cool things. So if you guys have any recommendations, then comment down below. Also, a lot of you guys don't know, but I do have a main channel, which is where many of my subscribers have come from here. But if you guys would like to check out my main channel, I do a lot of different types of videos, but I also do like vlogs on my apartment, and I have a cat and stuff like that. So I'll put the link for my main channel down below if you guys would like to check it out, and I'll also put my social media down below in P.O. Box. I've gotten a couple books through my P.O. Box from some of you guys, and it's super, super sweet. A couple of you guys have asked me to put my like Amazon book wish list online so you can buy me stuff for my birthday in a couple weeks, and I don't know if I feel too comfortable doing that yet, but like I don't want to tell people to like, hey, buy me books. But if you guys would want to, I guess maybe I'll put it down below, but if not, no pressure or anything. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.